Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks. Somebody needs help drawing this. They send me a picture of something like this and couldn't figure out how to draw it. It's really pretty easy. You want to start with a six-sided polygon, but the main thing you want to do in this thing is put it in the center of the page. So I'm going to hit P. I'm going to rotate it 30 degrees because I want that top flat. Now I'm going to make 2-point lines, and a lot of people kind of get, well, I don't need to do that yet. Control D to make a duplicate while holding down the shift key, bringing that arrow. Now, if I control D again, it made it equal, but I'm going to bring that one in further. Now, control D again, and that's why I don't use control D a lot in this case. I'm just going to hit the plus key on the keyboard, hold down the shift key, and make it like that. You want your parts to be about the same thickness, these inner parts. Now, this is where a lot of people get confused, and I did it first, trying to make this line. You can't just draw a line that is going to continue that line perfectly. But if you start here and draw that line, it's perfect. Then grab the pick tool and just bring it down. Now, we've already got that line, so I'm just going to duplicate it, and I'm going to put it on that node. Now I need to draw these vertical lines, and it's the same thing here, but when you're drawing this way, you can actually hold down the control button. Ooh, didn't do that right. And no, you do not have to hit your calculator. I hit the, so just take your 2-point line, and now if you hold down your control button, it'll be perpendicular. And I need to go from here to here. Now I need to take I'm going to go ahead and do some virtual segment delete key before I forget things. I want to delete that, and I want to delete that. Now what I want to do is, I know I've done a video like this before, but if you see, I've got I'm going to have a little shadow right there. So I want 2 lines. And if we look back on the old one, I started there and then moved it over. So I'm going to take a 2-point line, and you really need to kind of be at that same angle. So get your 2-point line and go from there to there. So that is going to be the same angle. And now we can take this and put it there. And then let's zoom in a little bit. And if we look at the old one, I'm a little bit off. It's going to be different because that line maybe I didn't, you know what? That might not be the same angle. Well, I've got it all grouped together, so that's not going to work. But we're going to try this and see what happens, and just take your plus key on your keyboard and kind of just put that line over there. Now what I want to do is take and delete this line, and I'm going to go and delete that line and that line. I can go and delete all these outside lines. I don't need them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to group all this together, and this is, I always do this so I can move it out of the way later. It's still in the center of the page. So I'm going to get my Smart Fill tool, and I'm going to fill in that, and then this little bitty piece up here. Now this is going to be a little bit different than the first one, because I think I actually had another piece along here, but I think this will work. Now, because this is grouped, I can move it out of the way. Now I can take this and I can left click, and I see a mistake because this line needs to go all the way through. Easily fixed. So take that line and move it down. Take that line and go ahead and move them down. Whoop, I must have jigged it a little bit. So I'm going to back up. If you see that's off a little bit. And I could probably actually do it in place. Let's just do it in place. Let's take these lines, and I'm going to put no outline. Well, I want the outline, but I want no fill. So all I'm going to do now is take my virtual segment delete key and delete that line. And now I can take my Smart Fill tool back and go there and there. I'm going to actually turn that thing black. Now I'm going to add a little interactive fill to make some corners a little darker. So I'm going to get my interactive fill tool. I'm going to click on that one. Whoop. See what happens sometimes if you don't pick it. Let's pick that first before we do it, and then get the interactive fill tool. And then this way it only do that one. I'm going to put a little black. Now here's a pretty good trick that I've showed off quite a bit. Is I want this section exactly the same interactive fill tool. So I'm going to grab the attribute eyedropper and I'm going to take a sample of that one and put it there. Well, it didn't work. I'm going to grab my attribute eyedropper, take a sample and put it there. There we go. So it's on the same plane. While I'm right here, I'm going to make this a little darker black. This one's going to be a little bit different. So now I need to grab a new one, interactive fill, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to put a little darkness. I always use darkness light, might even actually work better. But now I want that exactly the same. So I'm going to grab my attribute eyedropper, take a sample, and it made it the same. Now it looks a little different because of the fact that it's off a little bit at an angle, as you can see. And if we put this back and then put this back, you can kind of change the angle of the darkness. I think that's good enough for the video. I'm going to Control D to group it, Control. So I'm going to back up because I duplicated it first. I'm going to Control G to group it. Then I'm going to move it over, just make sure it's not a double. I'm going to Control D to duplicate it. I'm going to Alternate C to have it rotate in the center of the page. It's three-sided, so I'm going to rotate it 120 degrees and then 120 degrees. Now you can make it all the same color like this one is, or you can very easily change it. I'm trying to get rid of this one. You can very easily change it and change the colors are really easy. Just select this. You can, I don't know, let's see if we don't have to ungroup it. So you've got all these fills, so let's just try to put, yes, it's gonna work. You don't have to ungroup it. So I'm gonna put blue where the red is, or where the orange is, and hopefully it'll work. There we go. Now I could have done it individually, but here we're gonna grab the other one. And this time, it doesn't ever look the same with yellow, so I'm gonna make it green. So wherever the orange is, I'm gonna make it green. It's a lot easier, and that way they're all gonna be about the same darkness with tint, and everything's gonna look the same. That is a pretty cool logo. I'm glad they asked for some help. I don't know what it's really for, but it's pretty cool. Order back a page and you get that. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody someday, and thank you for watching.